Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, I have updates for you guys about Donald Trump's Iran war. I wish it was good news, but it is not. Things have taken a very negative turn today. This is late breaking news, some of it that I have to share with you. So, as usual, Donald Trump has been sending mixed messages, he's been playing Wall Street. Unfortunately, they keep falling for it. Like, they are turning into that meme of, fell for it again. That's Wall Street. That's investors. We are now officially 2 months into this war, and these so-called geniuses on Wall Street are still falling for his market manipulation. So here's his latest move to soothe the markets. Trump had said over the weekend, I think it was, maybe it was Friday, that the US was going to quote unquote guide ships through the Strait of Hormuz. So here's an article talking about that. Um, he put out this lengthy post on his failing social media site, and he said that innocent ships, whatever that means, would somehow be escorted through the strait. Immediately, I was like, okay, how exactly are you going to do that when there are mines that have been laid that are still there? His administration admitted that it's going to take at least 6 months to clear these mines. So, how is this going to work? Like, would you want to be on one of these ships? Like, think about it. Would you want to be on a ship trying to navigate a literal landmine? And, no insurance company is going to be up for that. They're not going to cover these losses. They're not going to cover these ships. So it was clear he was bluffing. He was just making shit up because he's in this full blown panic because he created this shit show and he doesn't know how to get out of it. It's just that simple. He is like in a corner. He is stuck in a corner and doesn't know how to get out. And this blew up today, quite literally, which I'll explain in a minute. But according to Axios, Trump had convened an emergency meeting of oil executives, and he was trying to pressure them to increase production because the cost of fuel is so sky high. So here's an article about that. Evidently, it didn't go that great. Oil executives basically gave him a big middle finger. And on Sunday, Chevron CEO, a guy named Mike Wirth, he was on CBS. He was interviewed on, I think it was Meet the Press, or I forget which show. Anyway, he said it's unlikely that prices are going to come down anytime soon. Mike Wirth, in fact, predicted they're going to keep rising. That, even the near future, we're going to see prices surge because the oil reserves that we had, or that other countries had, have now been depleted. So all of the reduced cost pre-war product is gone. Like, all of the oil that would have fallen under the previous pricing, the lower pricing, that's been used up. And so now we're going to start seeing the actual current price. So if you guys thought you were already paying obscene amounts for gas, which I concur, I'm in California, I absolutely agree, you are not wrong. But we haven't seen anything yet. It's going to get much worse. Now, according to the Washington Post, prices have already hit a 4-year high. So it's insane to think that it's going to go higher, but that's exactly where we are. Crude prices as of last week were at $126 a barrel. That was basically the same as prices in 2022, when the entire world had just come out of COVID lockdowns and demand was skyrocketing. Everybody wanted to travel, everybody wanted to get out of the house. And so, demand surged. And so we had a shortage and it drove the prices up. It's supply and demand. Unlike 2022, though, as you guys know, this was 100% caused by Trump. This is caused by his hubris, his ignorance, and Bibi Netanyahu. And in addition to the rising cost of fuel that's hitting Americans and everyone else throughout the world, I should say, he's also burning through our tax dollars like as if he's lighting it on fire with a blowtorch. So check out this article. The latest estimate is that this war has already cost us $25 billion. 2 months, 20, so 12 billion, $12.5 billion per month is what this is costing us. A needless, illegal, and offensive war that the majority of tax-paying Americans do not want. And there is no end in sight because, as I mentioned at the beginning, there's this brand new breaking news. I don't even have a graphic for you guys to show you, but basically, we're back to a hot war. Apparently, the US and Iran are shooting at each other's ships. Um, there were reports that Iran had shot at and hit a couple of our ships. I don't know if that was yesterday or today, but the US denied this. The US said, "Oh no, that never happened." Well, think about who has the impetus, who has the reason to lie, right? We have the reason to lie. Iran doesn't have a reason to lie about that. Why would Iran make it up that they shot at and hit our ships? They know that that is just going to cause more problems. On the other hand, Donald Trump doesn't want to admit that Iran struck our ships because what that does is that then puts the ball in his court. Now it's up to him to decide how he reacts to that. And, Donald Trump, as we all know, he's loath to look like a wimp and like he's not this strong man who's going to, take on his enemies. And so he would then be put in another corner. Like, what do I do? Do I respond? Do we, do we start blowing them up? So the US was denying this. Well, now it's been reported that the US has traded fire with Iran. So, details are a little bit sketchy right now. So I'll maybe have more for you guys as the week goes on. We'll see. But it was also reported by the United Nations that there are about 20,000 people currently trapped on ships near the Strait of Hormuz. So this could be why Donald Trump was saying, "Oh, we're going to escort them. We're going to, help these ships transit," which of course that morphed today into, "Well, we're not actually going to guide them. We're going to give them maps." I It's deadly serious, but you have to laugh because I mean he's so clownish. He's such a buffoon. Anyway, here's what the UN wrote in this report. They said the seafarers are working on some 2,000 ships, including oil and gas tankers, bulk carriers, cargo ships, as well as 6 tourist cruise liners. The ships are trapped in the Persian Gulf and are unable to pass through the narrow strait owing to the ongoing war in the Middle East. So, I mean, we have to hand it to Trump, right? He's the best. He really is the best. He is the absolute best at creating a worldwide epic disaster. He is the best fuck up on the planet. No one could screw up this bad in 16 months as president. I don't think anyone else could do it if they tried. Anyway, like I said, he keeps talking out of both sides of his mouth because Trump is claiming, "Oh, we've won. Iran's been completely stripped of all power. Their military's gone." And yet he's still raging at our NATO allies for refusing to help. Why do we need help if Iran has been defeated? Why doesn't anyone ask him that? Why does no journalist, no reporter that sees him say, "Why are you so upset with our allies? You're telling us that Iran has been defeated. So why would we need their help?" And then you just stop and you stare at him and you wait for him to answer, which he's going to flail and filibuster and deny, defend, deflect, you know. Anyway, um, but yeah, I mean, I would personally like to have that video. I would like to have him on the record flailing so that Democrats can use that in the midterms. But anyway, there you go, guys. We'll see what happens. As I keep saying, like this is, we are one mistake away from a full blown, all out, nuclear threat war. Because again, Donald Trump doesn't want to look weak. And so far, Iran has been taking our lunch. And that's not to put down our military, but it's asymmetrical warfare. We're burning through cash and they have the upper hand. They control this strait. He should have thought of this before he did this. Somebody should have advised him. If there were any adults in the room, they should have advised him that this was a monumental mistake and this is how it was going to end. There was no other way it would end. So every day that it goes on, that it drags on, is another day that it could escalate to just absolute chaos and, just carnage. All right, guys, that is it for this segment. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.